Paul, a frustrating 4 days of very little cricket that had the chance at least to end in quite exciting fashion. What are your thoughts on the performance and on the results as well?
Well, firstly, some really tough conditions to play in, heavily suited towards the bowlers, very green wicket, very wet pitch. The ground staff in at 5:30 in the morning to get the game underway, which was incredible. Giles White's groundsmen were unbelievable. Really proud of Ed Barnes, his personal best, 4 wickets. Obviously, Chris Wright bowled nicely. Probably par score was 185 in the first innings. I think we just bowled a little bit short as a group, which we've chatted about and discussed. We saw how Kyle Abbott and Mohamed Abbas went about their business. They got us driving, coming forward, letting the seam do all the work. And, we battled hard, and to be, 17 for 5 in the first innings to get a draw out of the game, I think we've dug really deeply. I thought Rishi Patel was outstanding as well. His 54 balls for 27 was a wonderful innings in the circumstances.
What were you thinking after Ed Barnes and Alex Evans obviously saw us through avoiding the follow-on to then obviously lose the wicket straight after, and then Hampshire to forfeit their innings to put us back in? What were your thoughts then?
Yeah, it's an interesting one. We've been talking about it previously. Tom Smith and I and Colin Ackerman and Marcus Harris were having a chat about whether it was worth it or not. Obviously, games have gone by. Worcester, when we were against Lancashire last year, we had a wonderful chase. But this was such a different wicket. It was still wet. It was still damp. The new ball was still seaming everywhere. The last thing we needed to be was 15 for 3, 20 for 4 on a pitch that you were never really in on, and against 2 world-class bowlers. We just putting ourselves under pressure. 7 and over, scoring at 3.5 and over was tough. Never mind scoring at 7. And if you have to get in, the rate would go up to 8s and 9s. So it was the right thing, to battle so well the way Ed Barnes played and Alex Evans. Tremendous. They faced 80 odd balls, I believe. To see us through was terrific, and the hard work of doing the winter on the batting on both of them. The batting, it's paying dividends.
Was the Gloucestershire result earlier in this season a factor in making that decision as well, possibly?
No, not at all, because Gloucester, we felt that was almost the perfect storm, really, because obviously Dieter Klein got injured with his hamstring and he's still out at the moment from that. And, we only had 3 seamers there and Parky, so we had a couple of seamers and Parky. That was really tough because the pitch got flatter and flatter. Gloucester were just going to go and bat for the draw. They then got a little bit of momentum. They started to play better. The wicket got calmer. No sideways movements, no up and down bounce, which it was previously. So, it was easier for them then. And slightly easier, even though it was a hell of a chase. They never thought they'd get it, and we never thought they'd get it until they had so many wickets in hand and the pitches got flatter, the ball went softer. But actually here, the ball wasn't getting softer. The pitch was still the same. It's still exactly the same pitch as it was on the first morning. So, the outfield's still wet. There's still bits of mud around. So it just wasn't worth it against 2 world-class bowlers. If they'd both bowled 28 overs in the first innings and we got a big score, then yes. But now it was still the same conditions and it was unrealistic.
You mentioned his performance throughout the 4 days already, but Ed Barnes, it seemed to be a slight coming of age for him throughout the fixture. He must be delighted to see the players sort of on the fringe of the 11, fighting so hard and performing so well for their place in the squad. Yeah,
definitely. Ed's a real heart on his sleeve, 100% guy. He runs in like a man possessed, and he demands quality from himself. And he's come back from a little niggle, and he's in a really good place. So we're delighted. He's going to be a great signing for us. Great lad in the dressing room. He's always scored runs as a youngster, and he's only sort of dropped off a little bit as he's got older. So we've been hitting a lot of balls in the winter, and he can turn himself into a reasonable all-rounder that could average 28, 29 with the bat in future years for sure. But really pleased for him, and help Chris Wright out, who's sort of carried our attack a little bit this year. We talked about bowling in partnerships as their bowlers did. Mohamed Abbas and Kyle Abbott, phenomenal partnership. And it was nice that Chris and Ed did that this game.